Welcome back, everybody. IGN Live from Comic-Con 2016. I'm Damon Hatfield, and in the not-too-distant future, Mystery Science Theater 3000 will return. Joel Hodgson here is the creator of Mystery Science Theater, and Jonah Ray is the new star. Is that
star is a crazy word to use.
Crazy word, okay. Say a new actor who will appear.
Yeah, the new test subject.
He's a subject, yeah.
Gentlemen.
He's a human in the show.
I'm a human in a show full of butts.
Thank you so much for coming by the show. I am not a unique and beautiful snowflake. I, like everyone else, love Mystery Science Theater. I was exposed to it late Saturday nights growing up. It would be on Comedy Central, and that would be my Saturday nights. I would watch Headbangers Ball and Mystery Science Theater. So.
You and me, we ain't so different.
Yeah. So super exciting that the show's back. Yeah, you had much success on Kickstarter, the most funded film and video project ever, I think. So production started in January. Is that right? On new episodes, 14 new episodes, and a Christmas special.
Yeah.
So where are we today?
Well, we're kind of shoring up all the writing. It's just we just got done with all the riffs. So like for 14 episodes, which is an immense amount.
It was a lot.
It was really a lot. Yeah. And now we're starting to do the sketches and just try to seam everything together with the new universe of the show, the new things as well as the old parts of the show.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about writing all the riffs? Is everyone just in a room together, like watching the movies and pausing and rewinding?
Well, the thing we have to mention is Elliot Kalin, who's our head writer, who's from the
Daily Show. Jon Stewart. Yeah.
You guys have amassed a great cast and writing crew.
Yeah, and so he's really essential to it. And we kind of work in different rooms, and some of the rooms are virtual. Like Jonah often works with Elliot with a room, and it's sometimes people in the room or virtually. Yeah. And same with me. And then we each kind of do our riffs, and there's also remote writers who are also just writing stuff and submitting it. So we kind of merge all that together at a certain time.
I see.
So sometimes it's a room, sometimes it's virtual.
Yeah, it's just basically it's just a mess of jokes being thrown at these movies, and as you kind of go through them, you pick the ones that don't stink too much, and.
That's why we call them riffs. So if they're not funny, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not a good joke. Well,
it's a riff.
It's a riff. Yeah. So, it's a real arduous process, and I never would have imagined through the course of growing up and being obsessed with this show that it was so much work. Because you're just crawling through I had no idea that the concept of the show of being tortured by bad movies is also what you have to go through to make the show.
Yeah, you live with the movie for a couple of weeks, and I have to say, not only is there's awful parts, but you see the really beautiful parts in the movie too. Like there are always like really great ideas, good performances sprinkled within like these bad movies. So that's what you cling to. I think that's what you kind of gets you through is like certain performers you just go, wow, they're killing it even though this is not a good movie.
Yeah, it's always fun to see the one guy trying and you're like, wow, man, such a bummer that you're in with all these other people. It's the weird part about being with the movies for so long too is that that's your reference points with your fellow writers, and then you go out into the real world and no one knows what you're talking about.
No. Yeah, it must give you a different sort of appreciation for cinema.
Yeah. It's I don't watch movies now and make riffs in my head, but I do see how they're better, like why they're better, why like pacing, all that stuff. You realize that when you're watching some of these cheeseballs.
When you go to see a new movie in the theaters, are you thinking of jokes in your head, or do you have to turn that off?
I don't. I have to tell you, this happens to me when I go to a movie with someone that doesn't know me that well. They're always sitting there like, and I'm like kind of going, well, no, I'm like you. I'm hoping to like kind of forget who I am and get taken up into the movie, and so I don't ever like do that. But I think it's more, and when it becomes, well, you would know this because it just happened to you, but when it becomes your job, you don't want to do it all the time. Yeah. Like when you have to do it during the day, you don't want to do it at night.
Yeah.
You want to just relax.
It is Friends, and like my wife has started to make more jokes while watching movies and TV than I ever would. And so she'll make a joke and go, huh? Pretty good one. You can do that one, right?
That's great. Yeah. That's great.
So 14 new episodes. How did you go about, you haven't revealed any of the new movies, have you? Okay.
No.
But how did you go about selecting them? I know there's like licensing issues. You probably have an idea of what you'd want to get and then what you're actually able to get. What's that process like?
It's mostly the way I tried to approach it was just movies that you could spend 90 minutes with and wouldn't be too hard on the eyes, They're not great movies, but but they're different than the old episodes because they're widescreen, and we're working from better prints, but still, because the game has gotten so much better across the boards with feature films, they're still going to look like cheesy movies, but in the world of Mystery Science Theater, they're slightly better bad movies. That's how I look at it.
Yeah,
So,
there's a few in there where I was watching, I was like, cool story.
yeah, so
Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
So I still think if you compare it to, like any real movie, people would go, no.
Can you tell us what the oldest new movie is that you picked?
I don't want to say.
You don't want to say, you won't even give a...
Terrified to tell you
so
how
scared.
old. It's Nosferatu, which is a silent film and in black and white. But other than that,
It's a train pulls into the station. It's our shortest episode.
it's the Lumiere brothers when they have a kid holding a water hose.
It is coming from my perspective, the movies that we are showing, they look and sound and feel like classic MST movies. Yeah. It's just there's that, there's when those title cards come up, you're like, this feels like a Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, we tried to break a little new ground with a few of the titles, but that seemed like job one, is to just get the new cast in there and the new writers in there and just kind of land that experience for people. That seems like what we have to do this first season. And then after that, we don't know.
So what's the timeline you have in mind? Before we started shooting, you were telling me you're just building the set right now?
Well, actually, the models just started getting built this week. We just are getting to order the sets that are starting to be built. I'm trying to think what else is at work. Next week, we start talking to the costume people. So that stuff is all the fulfillment stuff is all happening. Most of the creative stuff is almost done. And I mean, not that that's not creative, but the stuff that'll be on paper is done. Yeah.
Joel's also making me go through a rigorous jiu-jitsu program to be ready to
He's going to be action. He's going to be an action star at the end of this. Look at him. Come on. Show him some of this meat. Show him some of the meat.
Joel, you said you weren't going to embarrass me.
And then I'm sure everyone wants to know, when are we going to be able to watch these?
Yeah, in the new year. Yeah, in the new year. Yeah, right away. Yeah.
Right away. That's good to know. And then the other question is, where will we watch?
We can't say yet.
Okay.
But we do have a place, and we can't say yet.
There is a plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jonah, I was saying, I watched a lot of Mystery Science Theater as a kid. What was your first exposure to the show?
It was being by myself on a Saturday night, flipping through TV, and then seeing silhouettes on an old movie. And being a kid that watched a lot of old horror movies, a lot of old sci-fi stuff, it was, I would have probably stopped anyway, but the fact that there was, three figures making fun of it made me stop. And then once the host segment showed up, I was sold. It was just one of those things where, you go to school that next Monday and you try to explain what you saw, and it sounds like a fever dream of some sort. And there's one guy who's like, "No way, I think I know what you're talking about." And that's like my earliest memories is trying to tell all my friends about this fantastical, weird show. That I was like, it sounds like what we're doing. And that's like the pure joy of the memory of that. It's different now, I guess. It's like, if I can't explain to my friends, I'll send you a link.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. Well, this happens all the time. I was sitting on the plane coming out here next to a guy who hadn't heard of it, and what I just do is I pull out my notebook and I draw a rectangle and put the little theater seats in and go, this is what we do. And usually they go, oh, right. Once they see the image of it, they'll remember it if they don't happen to remember the name.
That image, right?
Yeah, so I always draw it, but it is hard to explain.
We make fun of bad movies. Super excited to have Mystery Science Theater back. It's,
Thank you.
Very, very exciting. Your panel is tomorrow. Are there any announcements people should be looking forward to?
We have 3 big announcements.
Announcements coming tomorrow.
Yeah, and we're also showing some of the visual development that's coming out. And so it'll be really fun. Yeah.
Sorry we can't give you any scoops.
No, that's okay. I'm a fake journalist, so I don't get any real scoops. But we look forward to seeing more Mystery Science Theater in the new year.
Can I take your cards and go click them on the table?
Just do a little and.
Thank you. Thank you. Wanted to do that.
You can't not do this.
I know, I would love that. I got to do that.
That's good.
More.
You should just have it around.
Just clicking on it.
So much more to come from Comic-Con 2016 on IGN after this.